Alright, so this is going to be my follow-up to my Chapter 132 review that came out yesterday, and I'm also going to have to immediately go into webcomic spoilers for this one, so if you don't want to know what's going to happen past what the manga is currently on, I suggest you check out now. Alright, so I want to talk about Blast in this one because he is a big subject of debate currently in the community, so gotta talk about him, of course. And also, I want to talk about some more of the God and Psycho Rochi power-up stuff that's going on. But first, of course, we got to get to Blast. So the big question is, why didn't Blast show up? Or why isn't Blast coming? Or is Blast coming? Because this is pretty significant, right? A portion of the Earth was literally chopped off of it. So if anything ever signified a threat to humanity, it would be that. And as I said in the previous review, that this is definitely a god-level feat, if there ever was one. But does this exactly warrant Blast? Now, I'm going to say no, because obviously he's not coming and he's not going to come. And of course he could. I mean, Murata could just change it and retcon. And I say Murata because I assume that he would just tell one to do this, since it seems that he has power over altering the story at this point. Maybe not, I don't know. But also, because Blast isn't going to be revealed until like the flashback after Tatsumaki goes against Saitama, like chapter 106 of the webcomic, I think. And I'm pretty sure they want to keep it like that until then. Now, also, could be wrong again, because a couple chapters back, I think it was like 128, we got the reveal of Tatsumaki being in like that test facility when she was a kid. That also is not revealed until much later on in this arc. So I don't know what's going on at this point. Anything could really happen, but my personal guess is that they're going to wait to have the Blast, let's say, form reveal until Tatsumaki's flashback, because we did see him in chapter 119, the back of him, which was kind of like making up for the retcon that they did to chapter 84 when we initially saw his form, in reference to him taking down Elder Centipede. But regardless, if they show him or not sooner, than he's supposed to be seen chronologically, I still don't think he's going to physically show up. The odds of that happening are like 1%, I gotta say, because it would kind of ruin the story at this point. I mean, like I just said, we're saving the Blast reveal, but let alone just the reveal of him actually in person in story, and we're seeing what he's capable of. That's gonna happen much later on. That's gonna be like the big part of like the next arc, like the big part of this arc we're seeing right now with Sairochi and all that stuff. And then of course Awaken Garo. So we got to save these big moments, and that's when Blast comes in. But also, let's go deeper. Let's try to figure out like why Blast, the character, wouldn't show up like within the rules and the lore of the universe, because I think that makes sense as well. So let's go to chapter 85 when we got that important exposition from Sitch of all people, and I'll go into why I think Sitch knows this super important information about Blast. Seems to know the most about this dude besides Tatsumaki, coincidentally. But anyway, he says it's not possible for us to order Blast around. He won't participate in any hero activity unless he has complete freedom. He refuses to be restricted and hates to stand out, which is why he does not disclose his background and identity in the hero catalog. However, he is valuable enough to be given this special treatment. But when humanity really does need saving, he will definitely come. So, at this point, would you say that humanity definitely needs saving? I mean, look at it. Like, Tatsumaki isn't defeated yet, and the other S-Class heroes aren't defeated either. As far as the Hero Association is concerned, or just people in general, it's like it's not a lost fight yet. I mean, yeah, that was a crazy feat from Sairochi, but still, it's not like that defeated them. So until that point comes, when there is like no one left, that's when Blast is going to come. Or, I guess, Disaster Level God gets called. Either or, whichever comes first. This is the same reason he didn't show up when the Boros invasion happened, because the S-Class heroes more or less had it, and there wasn't a point when it was shown that they didn't have it. And also, it was never revealed that Boros was known to anybody else besides Saitama anyway. But also, I gotta go into the whole why Sitch knows, and why Blast is very likely aware of what is going on the whole time. Like, why Blast knew what was going on with the Boros invasion, and why Blast very likely knows that the portion of the earth was just chopped off right now. And that's because he's the bearded worker, of course. I know, it's like people like are on board with a lot of things I say about Blast, but then I come to the bearded worker stuff, and then they kind of like, okay, well, that's a little too much. I can't get on board with that, and I get it, but he definitely is the bearded worker, guys. And this is why Sitch knows this information about Blast, because Sitch is close to the bearded worker, and the bearded worker is Blast, hiding in plain sight. It goes back to the he refuses to be restricted and hates to stand out, which is why he does not disclose his background information or identity to the hero catalog, because he's hiding in plain sight here, keeping his finger on the pulse of all hero activity. So it's kind of like he's retired from active duty and became like a coach of like the team or the commissioner, because also it's never revealed what the bearded worker's position in the Hero Association is, let alone we never get his name. Okay, but it's a pretty important position. Like I would say he's definitely one of the higher ups within this place. And also, of course, we got the Clark Kent Superman distinction there, which I think is totally what one was going for as well. So, yeah. But also, one more thing we got to touch on, of course. And One and Murata are literally winking to the audience here and answering the question for us as to why Blast is not coming or showing up for this significant feat. Because on page 22, Tatsumaki straight up says the iconic line many chapters early, when the time comes, don't go expecting someone to come save you. Of course, this is what we see Blast say to her, I think in chapter 106, right, in the flashback that we were talking about earlier in the video. So that's like, okay, so yeah, Blast said that to her. The hardcore fans of One Punch Man who have read the webcomic obviously know this line, so they're going to be like, oh, that's Blast. This line explains why he's not going to be showing up, because Tatsumaki doesn't need anyone to come save her at this moment. She is still fighting somewhat of a winnable fight at this point, right? Of course, we don't know what's going to happen yet, but I guess I could just take a guess right now. She's going to somehow defeat Sairochi. The power is either going to run out or something's going to happen, or maybe God has beef with her cutting the planet up, and we'll go into that. But regardless, Psychos Rochi, whatever, is going to be defeated here, and then Psychos will be reverted to her human form. She's going to lose the power up, obviously, and then we're going to go into the sequence with her fighting Fubuki and losing to her and all that stuff. And then also, this will be a better reason for Tatsumaki to be injured going forward. You know, when she starts getting dominated by the cadres, it's going to be because she was spent from this battle. But let's go back to the God Sairochi stuff. So, you know, the whole theory that I have about God being the Earth or somehow tied to the Earth. Obviously, this dude loves the Earth and hates the humans for what they have done to it. And we know that the history of One Punch Man pretty much starts with the Earth, you know, being destroyed by nukes and stuff, and the environment being eroded and all that good stuff, causing monsterization. But anyway, Psycho shooting the Earth, you know, like shaving the skull cap. God probably isn't cool with that. So I'm like confused as to what's going on here, because he hates all humans for destroying the environment, but he gives Psychos this power, and she just takes off the most significant damage to the Earth, I think, ever. Like, you know, aside from the erosion in general. But so I don't know what's going to come of this. Maybe this is going to anger God, and he's like, I didn't give you this power to do that. And then that's how he takes it away from her, and that's how she loses. Possibly. But also, it's possible that we might see the Earth like regenerate from this, right? Because like if it is true and the Earth is monstrified, or God is, you know, like integrated into Earth somehow, it might regenerate that way, and that might be One of Murata giving us more clues as to what's truly going on with the world. That would be interesting. I mean, there's obviously that has to be addressed. That big hunk of the Earth missing. They got to come back to that at some point in the story, don't you think? And then I just want to touch on what Psycho says in page 18, when she says, like, this power lets me absorb all living entities through my flesh roots, and then after fusing, the spirit becomes a massive thought entity. So this power, is that referring to, like, what she just received from God, from the fusion? I mean, it's on the following page to the reveal of that, you know, when she talks about it looked like something like God. So I guess that means that God did in fact give her this power, other than just an inherent power-up or just the ability to do this. But also we saw Orochi kind of doing this or something like this, right? When he was reforming himself after getting punched by Saitama. So does that go back to all this power is coming from the same source, and that you might be able to naturally unlock this ability if you get strong enough? Because that's what I was talking about with Orochi's regeneration. That's how it was able to go such a far way, because he was so high up on the power scale. And then also the things that she says about I am a star-like perfect life form. I wonder if I could become Earth itself by, continually fusing the flesh roots through everything. And then you see like the brain in the center of the Earth. And this goes back to obviously what I was talking about, how God is the Earth or something. So is this like what God did? So many questions, so little answers. But, I'll make follow-up videos to this stuff. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. If you liked it, please give it a like. And I also have a Patreon that gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.